like granulated. Man, them want to see me naked. Even though I'm overweighted. Rich man make me stimulated. Gunman make me lubricated. No get me aggravated. Bullet on me fire fatter than a fucking elephant. True me sing the gun song, them a tell me that they're relevant. But while me have to express myself like a criminal. Try this, I'ma make the bat float like pelican. And everybody know what I'm on the ground. Burger Park, Canterbury.
Is an interview uploaded by Google. Of course, we do know that Google was in fact, or Google Ventures was in fact an early investor in the company Ripple. We have here Chris Larson, executive chairman of Ripple, and Stefan Thomas. He was the former CTO of Ripple, and now he went on to work at Coil, which is specifically focused on the XRP ledger with streaming of payments and micropayments. Now, funny enough, we have a lot of talks, and even Gary Gensler showing a clip talking about the Internet of Value. This gentleman knows who coins the term. We even had another clip in 2014 of Chris Larson saying the same thing. So I'm going to play all these clips. If you guys want to fast forward through any of those, feel free. I'll try to give a little synopsis here because I know some of them talk a little slow. Maybe it's more annoying that I talk fast, but so be it. Let's get into the information. So, if any of you have been holding XRP for even over a year and you've not showing it in consumer financial privacy, talking about Elon mortgage lender and Prosper, so that's the one I was thinking of earlier. Okay, so we'll play this clip of Gary Gensler. He does speak a little slow here, but I'd like you guys to listen to it. Just talking about the difference between an intranet and an internet. Remember, inter meaning between, and intra is kind of like a walled garden. And keep in mind, all these silos, they're fragmented. The Internet of Value needs to interoperate. We need to break down these barriers. And remember, money will flow where it can go easily. So this is the same concept. We want liquidity. We want this narrative of water to be able to flow between all of these little silos and ledgers. Okay, and I'm going to play this clip of Gary Gensler. Remember, former MIT professor. He's talked about Ethereum, XRP. He may in fact become the new SEC chairman and finally give clarity to XRP, the digital asset. MIT, deep involvement with, of course, the Algorand Foundation, Silvio Micali, the founder of Zero Knowledge Proofs. David Schwartz is a big fan, and MIT does run a validator on the XRP ledger. What do you think is going to happen? And at the very end, like the last few seconds of this clip, keep in mind he even does reference streaming of payments, micropayments, and just talking about sending those packets of data, just like in this interview. Please go watch this interview if you've not seen it, especially if you're new. I love this one. All right, so here we go.
Well, and then something called the Internet of Value. Moving around on the Internet, packets of data representing value, the same way we move packets of data around the Internet since the early 1990s on the Internet. And the Internet is not an intranet. In the early 90s, we had CompuServe and other services that were intranets. And then the internet comes along because great MIT work, World Wide Web, Tim Berners-Lee,
so he's from MIT, right?
Creating an internet. Will we get to a place where we have a true internet?
Yes.
Moving money around, packets of value,
yes.
Interoperable movement of value and micropayments.
Yes. All right, and let's play this clip now. This is Chris Larson, 2014. Of course, these gentlemen, they talk about Bitcoin, the power, the power of programmable money. Of course, Ethereum was one of the first with smart contract capabilities. Excuse me. We even have this gentleman talking because Chris Larson in this clip mentions, airline miles. We have CryptoCam. Imagine collateralizing your airline miles on the Flare networks and staking the F asset, essentially making passive income until you need to use your airline miles. That would be amazing. There's going to be all kinds of new ideas that I've never even thought possible. The majority of us, aren't even going to be able to predict what happens until it happens. Just like trying to predict, say you're in 1995, trying to predict what would happen today with social media, with NFTs, with all these applications that are, being developed. It's absolutely insane. If you're not excited for the future, I don't know what to tell you. All right, so listen to this.
Released to the world. And the protocol is really three things. So some ways similar to the Bitcoin protocol, some ways very different. The way we view this is first and foremost, this should be a distributed payments protocol. That sort of comes first before the map-based currency. And we think that's really what the world needs, this idea of an internet for value, which we can talk about. Second, it is a map-based currency. Like Bitcoin, map-based currency simply means a currency without a counterparty, which is a really unique thing in the world. It plays a really, really unique and important role in building an internet for value. And then third, very differently from Bitcoin, because Ripple is value agnostic. You can put anything in there. You can put Bitcoins themselves in there.
And so this is a silly FUD point. I just have to clarify before I see silly comments in the video. Ripple is value agnostic because that's the only way to win. They have to level the playing field and win on a level playing field. If you can't win on a level playing field, you don't deserve to win at all. If you have to force your blockchain network, you have to force the use of your digital asset down someone's throat, it's probably not that good to begin with. Kind of like JP Morgan, JPM coin, that is an intranet. Now, could it be used for intra-bank settlements? Yes, absolutely. But Ripple's aiming to do something very, very differently with inter-bank settlements. So, on-demand liquidity, which leverages XRP, is actually built to leverage any digital asset. What if clients realize that there's a corridor and the liquidity for XRP is just not quite there yet, or they have different preferences? They can use a different digital asset. They could use Bitcoin. They could use maybe even a central bank digital currency if they'd like. This is the way of the future. So some people think that that's like a FUD point. They have not done the research. It takes 5 minutes of research to understand this ecosystem. So I just wanted to point that out.
You can put airline miles, dollar, euro, yuan, real, anything can be in Ripple. It ends up being, we think, the world's first distributed currency exchange. So that's kind of the Ripple protocol, those three things.
Next up, I'm going to share a quick quote, and then we're going to get back into some very, very interesting news. So right here, guys, crypto whale. Investing requires a great deal of patience. Society is trained to expect instant gratification. Life does not work that way, and neither does investing. Keep this in mind, and I'm even really talking to myself here, but anytime you see somebody's success, you're seeing the end result. We never, ever, ever see the years of work that somebody else puts in. You only just hear about it. It looks like they got lucky, when in fact they may have actually just positioned themselves accordingly. So don't let anybody call you lucky when all is said and done. I shouldn't even be telling the XRP community this, because essentially we are some of the most patient investors in the game. Next, one of the largest banks in Switzerland rolls out crypto trading services. So we have this group right here. I'll butcher the name if I try to pronounce it. One of Switzerland's oldest banking institutions now provides crypto trading services. So we have this group. We also have Signum Bank, the digital bank out of Switzerland, and they listed XRP. We also know, SIX, the Swiss Digital Exchange's involvement. Switzerland is one of the countries, one of the many, along with Japan, UK, Singapore, that have already declared XRP to not be a security, so all good and great. So no surprise there. And we even had other news of Goldman Sachs essentially restarting their trading desk. So yes, there's still going to be manipulation in this ecosystem. It's how the game is played. Nothing goes straight up forever. But ideally, this is ushering in the new wave of finance. This is Web 3, Web 3.0. This will be the base layer where everything will be built on top of it. This is much more than what I was referencing of the Internet of Value. This is going to be a revolution of Internet of Data, of trust, of redundancy, of energy, of goods, of everything you can possibly imagine. And new use cases are going to be discovered each and every day. Interoperability, guys, this is the name of the game. So I'm beyond excited for that. We'll keep a close eye on this. And even right here, mentioning buy, hold, and trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Tezos. Where's XRP? We already know the relationship, as I've explained. We know XRP's on the back end for some other assets. I just wanted to point that out. We also see per Signum, which lists XRP. The new offering comes via an integration with Signum's B2B digital asset banking platform, which was said to be completed in less than 60 days. You guys can see how the game is played. And then right here, before I keep going, the digital asset firm will be responsible for custody of private keys. I really wonder what PolySign is up to, because I expect some big things. If you don't, obviously they're already active, but there's tons of NDAs. They were already giving speeches or panel discussions.
Like granulated, man, them want to see me naked. Even though I'm overweighted, rich man make me stimulated, gun man make me lubricated. No get me aggravated. Bullet when me fire fatter than a fucking elephant. True me sing the gun song, them a tell me that they're relevant. But while me have to express myself like a criminal. Try this I'ma make the bat float like pelican. And everybody know what love I'm ground. Burger Park, Canterbury over Bell.